necessarily read about on your favorite blog sites, not the people that you heard gossip about in the circles when you get your haircut or your hair done. Who are the people you know, and what do they need, or what do you need, or do you need a shoulder to cry on or ear to hear you? And I think that we need to do what essentially was done for years and years and years. Who are the people in your church groups? Who are the people in your neighborhood associations in terms of people you associate with? Who are the 5 or 10 friends that you have that are going to call? Like David called me out of nowhere. How you doing? I just want to know how you're doing. I'm not asking about music. I'm not asking about your accomplishment. I'm asking how you're doing. And that taught me how to be a better friend and call my other friends and say, just how are you doing? I know you're going through a tough spot right now if you just need me to listen. So I think you do hyperlocal. There's a guys, people always got some advice to give you in terms of meditation, yoga. You end up going to yoga class and people are just farming. So I'm not going to keep doing that. So I started looking into meditation for real, man. Hot yoga is torture. I was like, I just go in the sauna and fart myself. So I got into a guy named Moses, and he's an act-like guy, super cool dude. He talks about meditation, he teaches you how to meditate. Start watching on YouTube and start to understand that if you're a person that's a creative, or don't be a creative man, intellectual like David Banner, your mind never cuts off. Your mind is always on. And a lot of times the drugs aren't to mask or hide pain. They're because your mind is so goddamn busy, you gotta give half of it something to do. As you think, Maya Angelou would talk about writing poetry. She put jigsaw puzzles and coloring books around and kind of do those things to get so her mind could get out of the way and she could write. And I started realizing, like, oh, that's why I like drugs. And that's why I like turning on the television and the radio and all these things at the same time. So I can finally get to the rap I want to write, because my mind is just a tool. My mind isn't me. And just like people who are, man, I have a good friend and my cousin actually, 20 years ago, you see me running around, we were like freaking frack, same Jimmy. And schizophrenia took him from him. We find him, we bring him home, he runs away again. But I realized that my cousin's mind was working against his best interest, because he isn't his mind. His mind is just a part of him. But ultimately, whatever thing dwells in his flesh that one day is going to keep going when his flesh is gone, it's not just my mind. So my mind is a tool that I can use. And I've had to learn how to sharpen that knife at times, and when it's best to let certain parts of it stay go. So I've done a very high hyper level, local level. The first person I check with in the morning is the bathroom mirror. How are you doing? How you feeling? You know, the second person I'm usually checking with is my wife, who I wake up next to. And depending on how I feel, I'll engage and say, hey, this is how I feel, this is how I don't. But then as I go out, I make sure I check in on my friends, and I check in on, I have a group of brothers. These just my brothers. Tip hits me, I'm going, hey bro, I just hadn't heard from you in a while. So I would encourage us to do that in terms of our own mental health. Look in the mirror in the morning. My new album, Michael, I got an album called Shed Tears, based on that conversation. A lot of men have themselves in the morning. A lot of men cry. A lot of men got emotions you never see, because it's in the bathroom in the morning before you go out to conquer the day. And I think that if we start very locally like that, like Shanti said, she was running around with baggage and didn't understand what was going on, and at some point had to just sit with Shanti and get with a therapist and get to the bottom of it. Another thing is, I'm a believer in therapy. I'm a believer in finding someone who understands or wants to understand you and your background. I got a black woman therapist. It was game changing for me, because I didn't have to over-explain who I was. She already understood it when I sat down. She already understood what was going to be real. She knew how to call me on the bullshit. She was cultural from where I was from, and I think that there's some importance to that. So take care of yourself, like my granddad said. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're healthy. You know what I mean? Take care of your neighbor. Seek interest in terms of helping your neighbor understand they're not alone. And I think you just stay hyper-local. Who are the people in your church group? Who are the people in your spirit circle? Who are the people you call your friends, your line sisters, your brothers? Who are the people closest to you? Because those are the people that are going to be what Dro said. The people that hold you accountable. The people that know the real you. The people that say, I'm here for you. You know, I got a call, and I'll end it on this. I knew I had a friend in this brother that was a school teacher. He's an amazing photographer and artist. But I absolutely knew I had a friend in him when he called me at 3 in the morning one day and said, I've been arguing with my loved one, I have a gun, and I'm thinking about doing something to myself. I just need you to talk. And I was like, all right, who can get to you? So while we talk, we can make sure someone's on the way. And luckily his minister had also answered, and his minister that brother got some therapy, got those thoughts and ideas out of his head, and is an amazing photographer now, putting on shows around, up and down the East Coast. And I'm very happy for him. But man, what if I wouldn't have considered him a friend? What if I would not have answered that phone? Because he's not particularly famous at the time. What if I wouldn't have been empathetic because I had a mother trying to commit suicide in front of me? So grant people grace and empathy, grant yourself some grace and empathy, and try to stay as communicative as possible to let people know that there should not be a stigma and you should be there. At least that's how I